I'd say I wanted to come on this project because I've never really done anything like this before.
Because it sounds fun and it's great to get out of lessons.
One of the priorities for District Council is to work with young people, so the consultation with the community groups, the young people, fits completely in with what we're trying to do, trying to get more young people involved with arts and seeing art and being involved and participating.
This is a brilliant project which is one of many on the canal as part of the restoration. They're all about getting people involved and improving the environment around the canal as well as telling the story.
Well, the tunnels are very dark, and what we're aiming to do is to make them appear, feel and be safe and welcoming, and also interesting in as much as they are lit in an atmospheric way, and also some of the artwork will reflect local wildlife, heritage and other issues.
The groups that we selected to get involved in the project are students who've recently opted to take GCSE art and design, so they were students that we knew had a real interest in art, and we wanted them to get involved because we thought it would be a good stepping stone into the GCSE next year.
Beth.
And what's your role?
I'm the interviewer.
Hi, I'm Susan, I'm doing graphics.
Oh, I'm Vicky and I'm the producer.
I'm Ben, I'm doing sound.
I'm Steve and I don't know, but I will find out soon.
As I've explained to some of you, is to do with lighting the inside of particularly that tunnel. For those of you who've walked through it, I'm sure you can see that it's actually very dark, and particularly at night you can imagine it's not very welcoming to walk through something like that. In fact, it might be quite intimidating, and one of the main things we can do about that is lighting it. But we need to light it in an interesting way, because otherwise it'll just be one more boring canal tunnel. And one of the things that I'll be doing in the workshops with you over the next 2 weeks is to investigate some of the ways that can be lit and some of the effects of light.
From your point of view, how would you light this tunnel? What kind of things would you do? Have a jolly good look at it, have a look at how you might fix things to it, what sort of materials it's made of, what problems you might come up with, because we are going to be asking you about that when we get in school tomorrow at the workshops. So everything you do today will all be useful stuff for you tomorrow.
I think it could do with a bit more like a makeover, basically.
We're focused on one of the tunnels, which is a very dark tunnel, and we're thinking how we can light it.
We made 2 songs. One was slow for the intro on the boat ride, and one's faster.
We've learnt about how light and images and reflection works and how to make things like pictures and stuff.
We've been making different stencils and objects to shine lights onto and see what they look like.
Today we've been demonstrating the lamps that we'll probably be using for the final project, and the idea of that is to show how the students' designs can be transformed onto metal discs, which are a type of slide, and those designs can in turn be projected from the lamps onto the opposite wall of the canal.
We've done several bat surveys here and discovered that from what we can tell, no bats actually fly through the tunnel, but they do seem to fly in and then fly out again very quickly. But there is a good population that seem to feed around the canal and around the tunnels. With the bats here, it means that we can't actually light the tunnel throughout the dusk period, which is when they feed. So we either have to just light the towpath or turn the lights off at that period, but we have to be very careful that we don't interrupt their feeding patterns.
I think it's been a very useful exercise today, seeing how the lamps actually work in the situation. and it has given us an indication that we probably need to keep the lamps towards the centre of the tunnel where it's darkest and where they'll have the most impact, especially on a bright day like this.
When we visited Birmingham with Richard, we went to look at some lighting designs that he'd already put together. And we came back, worked with the youth group, and they came up with lots of designs. What we found was that when we looked at the type of designs, we really couldn't use the projectors in the tunnel because they weren't very vandal resistant. So what we came up with was using LEDs, which are very low energy and they're very hard to break, so they're going to be very vandal resistant. Richard's done a great job of translating the designs by the young people into designs that are suitable to be cut out of metal using a laser cutter. So those are going to be made into panels that will go onto the fencing inside the tunnel.
The art's out with the regeneration of the Canal project because it really enlivens the area and it brings people down to the area, so people kind of may not have come here in the first place, so they might be drawn by the art. It's also a really good way of expressing the community and the history and through the art, and it's an exciting way of delivering that.
I thought it was an excellent opportunity for the students, and I thought it was really nice that it was something that was part of their local community, and really good the fact that they'll be able to go back at a later date when it's been installed and they'll be able to say, you know, I got involved in that and I was, you know, part of the team that helped to design it.